Well, welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. Today our job is to build a new wood splitter here. I built this quite some time ago, and I used some old crappy wood that I had. Used the old spare tire off my old truck and some bolts that I had that I bought at a hardware store when they were closing. So basically the whole thing was just made out of junk for free. I'm actually going to build the new one with real stuff, except for I'll still use my old tire. So you can see in here, these 4x4s are just about 2/3 of the way through. They're ready to break and they're also rotten. And the base is made out of 4x4s, but you can see it's split and rotten, and it's all rotten in the bottom here. There's even bugs in it, so time for a new one. So the first thing I'll do is take off the tire. So I'll get that off and we'll be back. Okay, well, we get the tire off. So you can see how bad the wood was on this whole thing here. You see it's almost completely gone through, and then this is split and rotten, got bugs in it. So anyway, we'll get it all apart, lay it out, and then we'll use these for patterns for cutting the new wood. So we'll be back. Okay, and here's all the pieces laid out. See, it's pretty well done for. See that split in half, big crack in that one. Pretty rotten. So what we're going to do now, bring in our handy sawhorse here. Get our beams. Get ready to cut. These are 2-foot sections, just like all of the pieces here. Get the eyes and ears on and be right back. Okay, we're ready. Saw's warmed up. Okay, well, we've got our second beam here. Just wanted to talk about wood. This is treated wood. It's even pre-cracked, just like my old rotten stuff. And you go to a lumber yard, load it yourself. I asked the guy to pick me out a good piece, and you can see that he didn't do a very good job. Now remember, when you're cutting, when you get close to the end, low throttle and just a little burst, and it'll cut and it'll just drop right out. Okay, well, we've got all our holes drilled in the corner. This is an old drill, a shopmate that I bought from my uncle when I was 12 years old. Paid 15 bucks for it. Still on the job today. Lifetime tool. Can't buy them anymore. So I drilled all the way through this and partially into this. so I'll have a pilot, and so I can put it on here and finish drilling it through, and I'll do that on all the rest of them. When you're drilling, as long as the wood can come up through the grooves here and clean, it'll drill good. But if it starts to slow down, pull it back out, get rid of the sawdust, and then go back in. You'll get a lot faster cutting and the tip won't get hot. So we'll finish these up and be back. Okay, well, we're back. I've started to assemble it. I've put my bolts in here already on the front plate. Got one here and getting ready to put this one in. I took these bolts and cleaned the rust off them and rethreaded the ends to make sure they'd work good, because they're real low quality. I bought at a hardware store years ago, but you know, use what you got. The thing I'm going to use to drive them in is this dead blow hammer. It's a steel inside and it's full of little BBs, sometimes lead, sometimes plastic or steel, depending on what type. This one's got lead in it. I've had this about 30 years. Bought a snap-on, so buy good stuff, lasts you forever. What it does, when there's a hollow spot in there, and when it hits, all that stuff impacts it and gives you that extra energy for knocking stuff in. You can see it's real efficient. So what we're going to do now, need to put this on here so get the hole lined up. Then we're going to use the dead blow, get it so it's level. There we go. So we'll put some more of it together and be back. Okay, well, we're ready to put in our last bolt. Give it El Cabango. Then what we're going to do, check and make sure that the threads are still good. Put a nut and a washer on it. Yeah, it goes on. Okay, then what we'll do is square it up and tighten all the bolts up. So we'll be back after we get that done. Okay, well, we're ready to drill. Well, we're getting close to completion here. The thing that I did different on this one, the original one only had two pieces here for the wood to sit on. There was a distance apart there. Sometimes smaller pieces would fall sideways or drop down. This way I'm going to have three across here. But I leave open spots in between here because bark and little pieces that chip off and stuff still need to be able to drop out. So anyway, I've got my holes drilled for the centerpiece. I'll come back and do these. And I got to find some more bolts. So we'll be back when we get all the hardware and get it done. See you soon. Amazing, this wood is still moist on the inside. Not very good sign. Anyway, we'll get the last two holes drilled, and we'll call it good for today. Well, we're in the finishing stages of our firewood breaker here. So the base is all done. We get put on the last cross beam with the tire on it. And talking about using what you have, the bolts are right up against the side of the tire here. So I took a piece of firewood and put it in between the inner part of the tire there, and then used the hammer to smack it down so the bolts are exposed now. So remember, use what you have. So we'll get the tire and stuff mounted and we'll be back. Okay, we've got them started in the hole. Let's see it going right in there. I happened to look into the woodshed and found the perfect driving tool, and go right inside the tire lip here, right on top of the bolt. Okay, there we go. Use what you have. Okay, well, just the last two bolts to tighten up. I'm going to do a video about tools coming up pretty soon. Well, I use nothing but the best you can buy, and the reasons why. So anyway, we'll finish up. There we go, another finished project. Getting our firewood early this year. So we were slackers last year and didn't get it done in time. Okay, well, we're back. Got our wood splitting station all finished. A couple of things. When we went to the lumber yard, because of social distancing, I didn't pick out the wood, and I should have, because this is supposed to be pressure treated wood here. You can see it barely has anything in it. But the 4x4 for the cross pieces is treated all the way through. This 4x4 weighed more than the 4x6, but didn't find that out till I got home. So we'll have to put some boiled linseed oil to seal that. The other thing was, we got 3 cross members in here, where originally we just had 2, which will be a lot better. That way stuff won't get caught in the sides and stuff. So we'll get ready to split here. We'll get some rounds here. Okay, I've highlighted the cracks in it, both here and here. So remember, when we want to split wood, we'll look for the cracks, because that's where you want to put the axe to cut it, like this. And then we want to be aware of where the knots are. And since I like using double bit axe to split stuff with, it's best to have the knots down lower, because of the thin profile here. It doesn't split the wood initially up at the top. It cuts way deep and then it splits. But I've had better luck doing it with double bits than anything. So, well, let's give it an L splitto here and see what it does. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but cracked all the way across. This wood is pretty dry, so it's going to be a little hard to split. So we'll come out here towards the edge, try to get another bite in it. See, it sticks in there pretty hard. We may end up having to get a splitter after all, but give it another split here. Yep, we're going to have to get something with a bigger wedge on it, so we'll be back. Well, we've got our splitting maul out. We need the extra weight. We need the extra wedging power. You can see the huge difference there. Yeah, let's see what this does. There we go. Now we've got the initial split in it. I'll go back to using this because it already cuts better. Just work our way around. There's some nice big firewood pieces there. So it's just a matter of getting the right tool for the right job. There we go. Well, we got our second piece split here. There again, I had to use the maul to split it. The grain structure has really huge grains and they're fairly dry, so it's hard to split. And the reason I use this is when you split it, it stays in one place and you just pick it up and then take it over and dump it. The other thing, I use this big truck tire instead of a car tire, because when I come down, this part of the axe here will actually bounce right back off that. Makes it real slick. So remember, vintage is best. Let's get splitting. Got a knot right there. Go right next to it. Take one more chop. There again, we have a knot right here. So what I really need to do here, flip it over with the knot down, and I'll get that nice deep cut in there. Should just split it right away. Just like that. See you on the next video.